Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what I have for your viewing pleasure today are two Dells. This one over here, in the later clamshell case. And that one, in the so-called MITAC case, because that's who manufactured it. The Micro ATX Mini Tower. I suppose this one on the side would be called a Mid Tower. That's the one I'm going to focus on first. I'm also going to be pulling the power supply out of that one and putting it into this, and then putting a new power supply in that, for reasons that we will see shortly. Okay, taking a look at this. This is a Dell Dimension 8400. I believe it's a slightly newer version of the machine that UXW Bill bought new, the 8300. So, I'm trying to think about what the differences between the two machines were. I can't remember off the top of my head. But, it might have been maybe purely operating system based. But, either way, it's got a DVD. What is that? Looks like a DVD burner and a CD burner. It does not do dual layer. It's too old for that. There's a floppy drive down there, which has amassed a fair amount of dust. Somebody asks what that sticker is. That is the former PC name. Denotes the research group that it belonged to at work, followed by a PC number. I know there weren't 56 machines. I'm not sure where their numbering scheme came from, but it's there. Underneath this little flap in the front, we have, if I can actually look, two USB ports and a headphone jack. No microphone. Service tags on the front. It's a Pentium 4 with hyper-threading, so at least it's not a Celeron or anything like that. But it's got one of these plastic clamshell cases. I don't really like these, but I figure having one in my possession is probably prudent for historical reasons. Plus, it's actually not in too bad a shape. There's a little bit of scuffing on the front, which is a little unfortunate, but usually these things get scuffed all down the sides, and they just kind of generally look like crap. But this one's not too bad, so it looks too nice to just simply discard, so that's why I grabbed it. Plus I could make this video. So you can see here, there's no power supply. The power supply was dead. Typical dim power LED syndrome that these power supplies that Dell put in these tended to have. But I can't just put a normal power supply because there's no cutout for the AC switch, which is why I want the power supply out of that one over there to put in here. It's got a single serial port. I guess it could be spec'd with two, if one so desired. It looks like there could be something there. Parallel. There's your diagnostic LEDs. Of course, it's the older style, the A, B, C, and D. PS2. I'm not sure to what level of surround this would be, if it's surround at all. It's probably not. I don't think it's surround, but it's got a couple of extra outputs for the audio. There's 6 USB ports and an Ethernet, which I think is only 10100. It has a video card fitted. I don't remember exactly what it is. And of course, a modem. So, and the service tag is right there again. So, I'm going to go and pop the cover, which is going to need 2 hands because, being one of these clamshell machines, they're a little difficult to open. Alright, if you were wondering, this is definitely Dell's attempt at a very toolless case. And the intentions were good, but these cases are just rather unwieldy to try and work with. So, but I got it open. You can see it's actually got 4 serial ATA connections. I think the, if I remember right, the 8300 only had 2 of them, but I'm not 100% sure. I think a jumper is missing. I want to say that a jumper is missing, because I had to clear a BIOS password on this. But it's possible I'd probably put the jumper back. There's a video card. Probably nothing to write home about. I don't know if it's got a model on it somewhere, or Yeah, not really. And there's the modem. There's your front panel audio connection and the front panel LED connection. They're completely proprietary, so you can't just replace this board with anything you want, unless it's another Dell board. And it does have one blown cap right there, nicely covered in goop. I believe the system still works. I can't remember if I tried powering it up or not. I really don't like this particular little thing. It just kind of lifts up in a very disconcerting manner, but it looks like that's the bigger heatsink. So it's possible that this has a nice beefy CPU in it. So that'd be cool to try and experiment with. If I had to guess, it's probably got 2 gigs of RAM in it, maybe 4. Again, we'll have to find out when I power it up. I have the drive rails. One of my conditions for taking the machine is I had to pull the drive, but I do have the rails, so I'm probably going to go get the rails and then put a drive in here. I think I got another one of those Velociraptor drives. I'll probably just throw that in here. Or maybe I'll just grab some other random piece of crap and use that instead. I haven't decided yet, but I gotta go get the rails first, don't I? Okay, let's go ahead and install the power supply. It's a 250 watt Dell unit. I will need to find some screws because it's just kind of sitting in there, just clamped in. So, but finding screws shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, they're standard 832 computer screws, coarse thread. I wanted to use a Dell because it fits nicely. I think that one back there is a little bit easier to work with a non-standard power supply. So I even got to remove the little orange cap covers the floppy power connector, because that back there didn't have a floppy drive, whereas this one does. And it's even got the SATA pigtail. So that's nice. Fits right in there. So, without further ado, let me go ahead, close this up, and we can give it a try. See if it works. Okay. Are we ready? Of course, watch it blow up now that I've done all that work. Let's see. Power on, and did it stay on? I think it's on. I didn't plug in the video. That was dumb. I knew I was missing something, but I heard a beep. So I think it is actually working. Alright, yeah, here we go. Copyright 1990 to 2004 Dell. Revision A03, probably an update available for that. Time of day not set. System battery voltage low. Seems like standard stuff. What have we got for utilities? Well, I didn't really expect to see this more modern Dell BIOS, but it's there. From 10.11.04. We got a 3 gigahertz Intel Pentium 4. That's not too bad. 1 meg of cache. I was kind of hoping for something a little bit bigger than that, but should be okay. 64-bit no. So is that a 478? That might be a 478. It's only got 1 gig of RAM. Well, I guess I probably should have expected that, but there's one thing. DDR2 at least. It's pretty slow for DDR2, but it is there. Of course, the date and time isn't wrong. Diskette drive is enabled. SATA, it sees it, 250 gig. I don't know if I mentioned that, but it does have one. Of course, there's an NEC optical drive. SATA is an AHCI, so that's good. Integrated NIC, integrated audio. So, this does not have onboard video. Not that I'm terribly surprised by that. Hyper-threading is off for some reason. We'll turn that on. But I think everything else is standard stuff. Looks like the last time it was really used was in 2012. At least the last time it gave an error was in 2012. So, I think we can go ahead and save and exit. That hard drive is not erased. So, yeah, I don't know what's on it. Watch it be like Windows 10 or something ridiculous. I think it's Windows XP, though. Yeah, Windows XP. Is it even going to start on this? I don't think it will, yeah. I don't know what system that was on. So, yeah, it just immediately reboots. So, let's see if I can get it to disable automatic restart on system failure. I'm pretty sure I already know what it's going to do. Yeah, we got an unmountable boot volume, so enough of that. Let's move on to the other one. Okay, here's the inside of the other one with a power supply installed that I hope works. It's 80 plus rated, which is kind of unnecessary for this, but it's the power supply I've got, so it's the power supply that we're going to use. Interestingly enough, there are actually what looks like completely solid capacitors for the voltage regulator. Everything else, of course, is electrolytic and prone to failure, but either way. You can also see it's got the bigger copper heatsink. So I kind of wonder if this is another 3 gigahertz Pentium 4. It probably is. This is actually a Dimension 4600. Unfortunately, there's no floppy drive, and I don't have the cage, so I can't even install one. So that kind of sucks, but oh well. At least I do have the secondary hard drive cage. And I did put a drive in there. It's got a 200 gigabyte drive. Again, nothing fancy, just enough to get it to run. This probably has more RAM than the 8400 did. But again, we'll find out once we power it on. That could always just be 4 256 meg sticks for 1 gig total. I guess we'll find out. It's still got a Windows XP Home Edition COA on the side. We'll go ahead and take a look around back. There's a no plug over the VGA for some reason. I'm not sure why, but whatever. I'm going to use the VGA. Could be that the VGA doesn't even work. And a modem, of course. At least you get all the slots on this. It's not like some of the other ones where you only get the 3 PCI slots and it's just artifacts for AGP. I think the Dimension 2300, which was one of the older versions of the Dimension series based on the same basic design, actually had 4 PCI slots. Arguably, that'd be more useful. Anyway, take a look at the back. Ethernet. Again, it's pretty similar to the other one. In fact, I think it's actually basically exactly the same. It's just got onboard video, which we're not using because it's got a video card. Although I may just pull this card out because, as you can see, it's got blown capacitors on it. I don't think it's anything particularly special either. So I may just yank it and use the onboard on this one, but I guess I'll leave it in there for now. If I decide to do anything serious with it, I'll probably change my mind. But it's got SATA. Looks like it's got two serial ATA connections, so that's neat. I'm not sure if there are multiple versions of this board or not, but there might have been. I know there's also the Dimension B110, which is basically the same exact system, but minus, I think, the AGP and maybe the SATA plugs. So Dell had a lot of different versions of what was essentially the same thing. I think this is the higher end version of the 2400, the B110, and also the Optiplex 170L. I'd kind of like one of those Optiplex machines, because I think I actually kind of like the design of the case. It's unique. It's not a very good case, but the case design, it looks unique, so I may try and see if I can seek one out, or I may just not care, because honestly I've got too many Pentium 4 clunkers lying around as it is. Let's go ahead and plug it in, power it on, see if this power supply actually works, and see if the computer itself does anything interesting. Okay. Yep, I think it works. There we go. Holy crap, A12. Valid configuration information, diskette drive 0. Seek failure, there is no diskette drive 0. Alright, strike F1 to continue, F2 to go into setup. Yep, check it out. 3 gigahertz, Pentium 4. Probably the same chip. Now let's see if this thing actually supports 48-bit LBA. 200 gigabytes, it sees it. So I think we're good on that. 2 gigs. Dual channel. It's still only 400 megahertz memory speed. So, what is that? Maybe it's DDR, maybe it is DDR2 800. I don't know. It might be. Is it DDR? No, that's DDR. That's DDR 400. So, yeah, not bad. CPU and hyperthreading is disabled for some reason. 800 FSB. There's the processor ID. You can go looking that up if you wish. But I suspect it's probably another Prescott core. Maybe a Northwood. Although if it's got that big copper heatsink, it's probably a Prescott. Press Hot, as they were called. I don't think there's anything else that I need to worry myself with too much here. Display the event log. Doesn't look like there's anything too spectacular. Logged a keyboard error in 2009. Other than that, that's just about it. So we'll save and exit. We'll see if it does anything. A12, it may not have an update for the BIOS, but maybe it does. I don't know what it went up to. Error loading operating system. Well, that's about what I expected to happen. So, here you go. Here's your 2 Dells. A Dimension 8400 and a Dimension 4600. Both thoroughly left in the dust. This front faceplate does not come off on these. I never thought to check the optical drive on the other one to see if it worked, but that one seems to be okay. So, I think that's pretty much it. So, thank you for watching, and if you've got any comments, feel free to leave them down below.